Justin Jefferson. An 18-yard touchdown grab. And the Vikings come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter. A familiar refrain, a turnover leads to a touchdown, and that lead grows even wider now here in this third quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, and now they're going to fake it. And he will not make it to the goal line as his try for two is going to come up empty. But that's little consolation to this defense as they have been porous all game long. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. This one taken just inside the 10. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. Now they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership.
I'm sure there was a tough halftime trying to figure out some strategy to get things going, trailing by a lot when they went into the locker room. He's just trying every avenue to spark his team here to begin the third quarter. Not a lot going on that play, though.
Sutton reeling it in on the left side. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. The Broncos send out their punter now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. And this returnable for Rager. And he is out of bounds, able to get it across the 20-yard line. A nice punt, but a good run back as well, 13 yards. And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10. Cousins now. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. And oh, that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground, incomplete. On 2nd and 10, Cousins steps away to his left. That's caught by the big tight end, T.J. Hockenson. Finding room at midfield. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. He'll let this go for the end zone. And a penalty flag comes in as that one winds up incomplete, but the contact is going to move the ball well downfield. They've done a good job on these receivers, pretty much held them in check. They're a little too close for comfort.
And you're always looking for a play to get you going, right? You're looking for someone to make one.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Kirk Cousins punching it in from a yard away. And the Vikings extend their lead yet again. And oh, it's wide right. No good. Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. From the 10. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. And Denver getting set to take the field. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
Wilson now to throw on 3rd down. Got a man over the middle. It's Williams. And he will have a Broncos 1st down. They needed 3. He doubled that. He got 6. Play action. Now Wilson. And he will find his man Sutton. That's complete. And they're going to get this to about the 44-yard line.
A gain of 16 yards. And that Buffalo's first down.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks. And the Vikings are going to have the short field here as they'll take over right at the 50. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. And he's got it inside the 10. A big play there for Minnesota. 44 yards.
Even with a big lead here in the 4th, it still bombs away. And frankly, it's working. Why should they stop? Go ahead and keep firing away and gaining those yards.
Forced out to his left. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Kirk Cousins. A 5-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings continue to run up the score. They lead it big here in the 4th. Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all 3 phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back to the early drives, you can just see that one squad is on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest.
This one taken just inside the 10. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Denver's offense now set to go. Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the 4th quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Being chased out left. Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. And they will set up shop at their own 46-yard line.
Well, partner, I think it's safe to say they can mark this down as extremely frustrating. Here we are in the 4th quarter, and that last play, that turnover, I think it epitomizes what happened to them all day on offense.
So symbolic, and that's why they're still being shut out. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. That one good for 37 yards. From the red zone now, Cousins buying time to his left. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Joseph on for the extra point. He missed one earlier, remember, but this time he gets it to go. Hardly any time taken off the clock there. 2 plays, and they find the end zone for 6 points. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. from the 10. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. It's been a tough go for them. It's still without any points here in the fourth quarter. And a big deficit, Charles. But they moved the football on some drives. They just haven't had any points.
Yeah, and I know in their minds they're thinking the game plan has actually been working. We just haven't scored points. Well, isn't that the bottom line, partner? To put points on the board. So if you're moving it and you're not scoring, is it really working? Right now, they've got nothing left.
Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. And the Vikings pick up the football. And that might just cement it. A return for a late touchdown. Second time he's lost a fumble. This one hurts more. It's return for 6.
He's been under a lot of duress, hasn't he? Pressured, hurried, harassed the whole game.
Well, the offensive line not giving him a lot of help.
Not a lot of help, but the bottom line, he's got to take care of the football.
Dancing to his left. And, boy, talk about adding insult to injury. He's into the end zone to tack on 2 more.
I think this is just going to be a function of the times we live in now. Very similar to the bat flip in baseball. Everyone's got to start to get comfortable with this. But to me, this is just rubbing it in. You got a big lead. Go ahead and take the extra point. One thing to keep in mind, though, karma's still out there. And sometimes it has a way of catching up with you.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Open man, he completes it to Judy. Just a yard to go here on second down. To throw is Wilson. Finding the open man, and that's Tim Patrick. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45. Throwing again here, Wilson. To the right side and complete to Washington. And they're going to get this down to about the 37. Looking to throw again on second down. Wilson. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2. From the shotgun, Wilson. And now here is another interception. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. But not only is his defense pitching a shutout, now they're contributing points themselves. I mean, they have really put together what's almost been a perfect effort here in this one.
I love how you express that. They've absolutely exceeded expectations in this one. And even better than their play, it's been their effort. Even with the win in their back pocket already, every one of those guys is still out there fighting like it's a tie game.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for 2, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. You know, size of victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get 2. You got some pretty ticked off folks on the other sideline now.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the fourth quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like what feels good to you and what feels good to your team. You're down big. You really have like 1 possession left, and you're trying to put points on the board that don't matter. But do that? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run to have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out.